This is me delivering an AI generated script. Before this channel launched, I recorded 4 full videos using an AI generated script. You never saw them. This is the story of why. I spent an entire month recording 4 full videos, 4 complete scripts, 4 full setups, 4 rounds of footage, 4 rounds of editing, 4 thumbnails. But when I looked at the videos, it looked like this. It looked like someone had handed me a costume called Elayne. It had all of my details in it. The garden, the gym, the book, the chickens. Everything fit technically, but it wasn't mine. And when you're wearing something that feels foreign, when you're delivering someone else's discoveries in your own name, the camera knows, and even worse, you know. Oh yeah, I'm the one that's going to have to clean that up, aren't I? This is that story. And I promise, no costumes this time. So here's what's actually happened. I had this concept for this channel, and I had the concept for the first videos that I wanted to create. The concepts was mine, the video ideas were mine, the mission was mine. So here's what's actually happened. I had this concept for this channel, and I had the concept for the first videos that I wanted to create. The concepts was mine, the video ideas were mine, the mission was mine. And it generally stemmed from something very real and personal. But when it came time to writing the content, I turned the structure or the framework over to AI. Now, the videos weren't bad. The scripts weren't bad. They were very clever in part. The specific details of my life that I had given AI, they were all incorporated very nicely into the video. The problem was, though, when I went to deliver the script, awkward doesn't even describe it. I recorded 4 full videos. I think one of them even had 2 versions of it. But the whole time something felt off, like I was trying to inhabit someone else's cleverness. The twists and turns of the journey, the observations, the conclusions, they weren't mine. AI had done the thinking, so to speak, and handed me the destination. And so when it came time to deliver that content, it just didn't land, because you can't be convincing about a journey, I guess, unless you're a professional actress, unless that's a journey you've taken yourself. The only place I felt like myself was when I moved away from the desk and I sat here on the bed, just kind of free-flowing it, talking out loud, which my daughter will say is one of my annoying habits. But when I looked back at the footage that I had done sitting at the desk with the script, I thought, who is that? I knew something was fundamentally wrong with my approach in those early videos, but I couldn't pinpoint it. Then I saw, kind of randomly, a video by the YouTuber and writer Dan Koe. I'll tell you more about that in a minute because it's worth the full story. But at that moment, he helped me really target and pinpoint what I was feeling was wrong. And the good news about all that was once you can name something, you can start to fix it. And to show you what I mean by genuine discovery, let me tell you about the rabbit hole I fell into right in the middle of all of this. Because this is exactly what I'm talking about. So when I was writing those scripts for those first 4 videos, the AI kept referring to itself, aka AI, as a robot. And I stopped and thought, that's odd and kind of intriguing at the same time. Why robot? Where does that word even come from? So I asked. And 2 hours later, we were still going. So stick with me because I promise to tie it all together at the end. That's what I mean by following your own curiosity. AI sparked it, but the discovery was mine. And that distinction, as it turns out, is everything. So the word robot didn't come from a scientist or an engineer. It came from a Czech playwright. In 1920, he wrote a science fiction play called RUR, which stands for Rossum's Universal Robots. In the play, the robots weren't metal clanking machines. They were actually biological beings, basically artificially grown people who lacked a soul. They were built in a factory to do all the work so humans wouldn't have to. The word robota means forced labor, drudgery, work done without will or agency. See where I'm going? And I thought, that's it. That's exactly it. The AI script was robota. Technically competent, it did everything it was told to do, but it couldn't do anything it wasn't told to do. It couldn't free flow. It couldn't follow a thought somewhere unexpected because it was curious. It couldn't discover something in the middle of a sentence. It could only be as interesting as what I already knew to ask for. Basically, it lacked a soul. And I hadn't thought it through enough myself yet to know what to ask for. That's not AI's fault. That's on me. So, Dan Koe. If you don't know him, he writes and talks about creative work and building something of your own. Worth finding and reading. He talks about the importance of writing your own essays, working through your own ideas first, not as a purist type of thing, AI bad, human good, but because the thinking is the work. The process of figuring out what you actually believe, what you actually want to say, what you actually think about something. That's not a step you can skip and still sound like yourself. And that landed hard. Because that's exactly what I had done. I skipped the thinking. I had the idea, genuinely mine, and then I handed the structure, the framework to AI before I'd fully thought it through clearly myself, before I'd sat with it, before I made the discoveries that would make this script genuinely be mine when I delivered it. And here's the thing about me specifically. Like I said a little bit earlier, I love intellectual discovery. I love figuring something out, following a thread somewhere unexpected, landing somewhere I didn't know where I was going when I started. That's actually one of my favorite things about being alive. And I outsourced it. No wonder it felt foreign. No wonder it felt imposed. I was delivering someone else's discoveries in my own name. And my whole very being, my whole system was rejecting it. The camera absolutely knew. And here's why this matters beyond just me and my YouTube channel. In the last video, I talked about being a glitcher, someone who doesn't fit the system's ending for people our age, someone forging a third path. But being a glitcher isn't just about what you build, it's about how you build it. If I'm going to forge my own path, my own income, my own community, my own next chapter, and then perform a version of myself that someone else or something else wrote, that's not a third path. That's just a different costume. A glitcher doesn't outsource their voice, doesn't perform something else's cleverness, doesn't skip the thinking because the thinking is hard and AI will do it faster. The thinking is the point. Your voice, the specific, particular, slightly annoying way you think out loud, or maybe that's just me, that is the thing nobody else has. That is the thing that cannot be replicated. That is the thing that will build your community, earn trust, and create something that actually lasts. AI didn't grow up like writing actual letters and sending postcards or watching I Love Lucy on a black and white television. It didn't navigate a career before the internet existed. It didn't raise children without Google. It didn't build relationships before anyone had heard the word algorithm. We did. And that lived experience, the specific feelings, the real struggles, the actual successes, that is not generic content. That is irreplaceable. That is the thing our generation needs to be documenting more of, not less. Sharing more of, not less. Because here's what nobody is saying to us, and we're going to have to say to ourselves. Our thinking is what makes us powerful, not despite our age, but because of it. AI can help you. I use it, but it works for you, not the other way around. So here's what I'm doing differently now. I start with my own thinking first. I sit with the idea. I take my notebook and my Bic pen. I figure out what I actually want to say. I make the discoveries myself, or at least I try before I ask for any help. And then when I deliver them, like in this video, it's mine. The awkwardness is gone. Not because I'm suddenly a better performer, but because I'm not performing at all. I'm just talking, which, as my daughter will confirm, is something I've never had a problem with. This channel is going to be built out loud. The experiments, the inevitable mistakes, the rabbit holes, the pivots, all of it in my voice, because that's the only version of this that's actually worth showing up for you and for me. So now let me know in the comments, what's something you tried that just wasn't you? One line is enough. And if you happen to know someone else who's a glitch in the system, someone who wasn't supposed to still want this and does anyway, you might want to forward this their way, just so they know they've got company. Well, our story isn't finished yet.